One of the greatest pieces of advice came from a story. I heard this from my brother, who said he heard it from Rabbi Lebelgron, who was a personal secretary of the Rebbe for more than 40 years. And a very fascinating story. It's 1954, and he was dating a girl. And I guess they dated for a while, and there was time to either propose or move on. And he was working for the Rebbe already 5 years. Rabbi Grona started to work for the Rebbe as a yeshiva student, 1949. So this is 5 years before he got married, before he got engaged. And he was working constantly for the Rebbe. So he asked his boss, but it's the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Should I propose? Should I marry her? And he said that the Rebbe looked at him and he said, "You're asking a question that I can't answer. Your mother can't answer. Your father can't answer. And your mind can't answer." And the Rebbe pointed to his heart. And he said, only your heart can give this answer. And the Rebbe would not give him an answer. He proposed and he married Yehudis Gerevich, today Yehudis Groner. May she have many long and happy and healthy years. But what does that mean? If you have a good relationship with your mother may have good advice. Your father may have wonderful advice. Your Rebbe may have amazing advice. And your mind certainly has great advice. But what the Rebbe meant was that there's something deeper than all of that. Of course, logically, it has to make sense. If logically it doesn't make sense, you got to be careful, because sometimes people have a crush that is unhealthy. So logically, it has to make sense. And of course, if you have a good relationship with your mother and father are intelligent people, they probably have some insights to say if they care about their child. But what the Rebbe was saying is that ultimately, the relationship of marriage is one that requires what we call in Hebrew Meshichas Halev. Meshichas Halev means that your heart intuitively knows this is the person. There's something very, very deep, and nobody can do this for me. I can't get married because somebody else said, this makes sense on paper. Maybe it makes sense on paper, but it's a very, very deep feeling, and this is something you must cultivate, not with intensity and urgency, but in a state of silence. When a person is very, very much comfortable in their own skin, comfortable with their emotions, and they can really ask, is this the person I want to hold hands with for the next 90 years? Is this the person I want to see the first thing every morning when I wake up? Is this the person I'm ready to go on the hike of life? Life is a hike. It's a long hike. We go up a lot of mountains. We go down valleys. Some parts of the hike are tumultuous and torturous. Some parts of the hike are easy and smooth. Sometimes we have to get down on all four and start crawling and climbing. Sometimes we slip. Life is a hike. We don't know where their hike is going to take us. It's an unpredictable hike. People think they're going to know their spouse exactly before marriage. You don't know anything, and you don't know what's awaiting you. What I do know is I know enough about you, but I want to go on the hike with you. You're the person I want to go on the hike. Do I know where it's going to take us, what's going to happen? That's what you want to know. You want to know this is a person that you want to go on the hike with. Another very beautiful piece of advice of the Rebbe, so he wrote to people, is you have to make sure that your values are very much in sync with each other. Sometimes people have different values. What are you ready to fight for? What matters most to her? What matters most to him? If his deepest priorities are so different than her priorities, it's a recipe for conflict. So you want to make sure that their values, their faith are similar to each other. Doesn't mean they're the same, but it means that they have convictions and very deep priorities that are very important to both of them. The Rebbe also spoke a lot about midas tovos, which means personality traits. You don't know your spouse, you don't know your bride or your groom perfectly before. Even after you get married, you don't know. But you could see this person as a mensch. That's what you want to ask yourself. Is this a man that if there is a fight, he's the person I want to fight with? Is this a girl that if there is a disagreement, I can have a disagreement with her? Because there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be discord. There's going to be contention, unless you're angels or you're crazy. There's going to be. We can't avoid that. But I want to ask this question. Is this the person that I know she's forgiving? She knows how to compromise. He has a broad perspective. He can listen to another person. He's flexible. He's reasonable. He's emotionally healthy. These are things that are very, very important to identify because we don't know what the future is going to bring. But I know that whatever the future brings, this is a person that I think I can work it out with. Now, there's never guarantees in life because people change, things happen. Sometimes things that the person himself didn't expect could happen. We know that. But we got to do our prep, and trust God for the rest.